Coming up, Marvel HeroClix Wheels of Vengeance set review, part 1. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clicks. Today we're going to be doing a Marvel HeroClix Wheels of Vengeance set review, part 1. So we're going to be looking at the commons, uncommons, and rares. I'm here with Brian Galley. And,
hello.
Hello. Hi. Let's go over in our set review. I'm going to go over. We're actually going to be taking a look at it in a little different way than our traditional set reviews. We're going to be looking at it with a slight point of view of a tier maker. So we're going to toggle in between HC units and tier maker. And the different tiers that we have on our tier maker are Triple Espresso, which are the top tier meta figures, Triple Espresso Pulp, which would be top tier figures for the pulp format. Then we have Double Espresso, which would be good figures or possibly really good sealed figures. Then we have Single Espresso, which would be, figures that are okay, not that great. And then Herbal Tea, which would be the figures that really, don't care about too much. So five tiers: Triple Espresso Pulp, Double Espresso, Single Espresso, and Herbal Tea. Let's just jump right in and look at the commons of Wheels of Vengeance. We have our first common, which is Ghost Rider, set number 001. Ghost Rider has Precision Strike, Quake, Giant Reach 3. He can target through characters. So there's he's 65 points. He's got this interesting thing where he can charge and Quake through characters because he's got a Giant Reach 3, so that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he has Exploit, so he's dealing penetrating damage. What do you think about Brian? What do you think about Ghost Rider?
He's a solid sealed piece for sure. Penetrating damage. You can use Quake to take out any sort of blocking terrain or terrain markers your opponent might be running. And the Giant Reach 3, he threatens a pretty large area. What I really like him though for is potential pilot option. He works with when we get to the pilotable characters later in the set. He works with quite a few of them. And that Steel Energy shape change he can grant can give a lot of longevity to other characters.
Okay.
I don't think he's anything particularly special, but he definitely has his uses. I'd give him a one-shot espresso, I think.
Yeah, I think a one-shot espresso in terms of competitive or I don't think he's going to be a meta figure. He might be useful in sealed, but I don't see him being one of the best figures in sealed. So I'm gonna agree with you. Let's put Ghost Rider in single espresso. So I'll just put him in the tier maker, and we'll move on to our next figure. So our next figure is Robbie Reyes, set number 2.
Good old Robbie.
Robbie Reyes. He is 40 or 20 points. He's got Perplex, but only to modify speed. Interesting figure. When Robbie Reyes uses it to target a character with a vehicle keyword, it may instead modify speed +2, and until your next turn, the targeted character has Mystics. There are a lot of vehicle keyword figures in the set. But, I think Robbie, I think also I would give it a single espresso in terms of
I don't know.
Meta play or competitive play. What do you think, Brian?
I think he might be 2 shots. He's a cheap source of Avengers. If you're running team player, he's a good way to get Avengers onto your team. The Perplex, even if you're not running a vehicle keyworded character, still a useful thing for Alpha Strike teams to help them get in and get across the map faster. At 20 points, he's a very small investment. The stealth will help keep him in the back, keep him safe, so you're not easy points for your opponent to claim. And I said, yeah, just Avengers for team players to copy. I mean, if you have a vehicle and you can really start tapping into that Mystics and the +2 speed, that does a lot more for you. But I think at 20 points, he's still going to see a fair bit of play.
Yeah, I think for 20 points, I mean, you do have a point about the Avengers team ability. I think if you're playing, well, I mean, if you're playing non-theme, I mean, I think definitely that's a good source of Avengers TA for 20
Mm-hmm.
points. Or if you're playing the mystical theme, if you're doing a mystical keyword, because most Avengers, a lot of the Avengers keyworded figures have the Avengers TA already. Or
Mm-hmm.
but if you're playing mystical, or if you're playing vehicle, or if you're playing non-theme, I think you've got a good point there. So
Yep.
all right, so let's put Robbie Reyes in tier 2. So he's going to be a double espresso,
Yep.
and yeah, he will be definitely useful in sealed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he fits right in there at the double espresso tier.
Yeah. Easy run in sealed. You can potentially at 40, he could be useful there. It is worth remembering he can perplex himself for the +2 speed in the Mystics. If you're running him
Oh,
at 40 points in sealed, he
yeah, if
could
you're
charge
running
that,
at,
but
at 40, that's
gives him
true.
a
So
5 square charge. I mean, 10 attack precision strike isn't amazing, but he's got good reach. Mystics,
yeah,
yeah,
for only
he,
40
he,
points, I mean, that's a pretty
mm-hmm.
decent attacker with the precision strike
Yeah,
and good reach. Okay, so then let's look at Blade.
Blade, yeah.
Blade is set number 3. He's got super senses and willpower. And traded Daywalker
Right.
is his trait. Super senses and willpower. At 85 points, he has hypersonic. 45 points, he has charge. He's got a lot of blades. He's got the team ability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard good things about this Blade, that he's really good in
Oh,
sealed.
monster in
I
sealed.
haven't actually had a chance to play him, but yet. But
I mean, full dial senses, shape change on the first 4 clicks, hypersonic and blade, so he's got real good swing and hits like a truck. I mean, if you do get a couple hits into him, which I mean, senses shape change is about a 50% chance to dodge attacks. You land do a couple hits, you get him that again. Then there, he's got steel energy to heal back up again.
yeah,
Yeah, he is a right monster in sealed.
yeah. I mean,
So,
the two rollouts plus the toughness. That's
mhm. Yeah, that said, he will not see much play outside of sealed. But
yeah. So I think we could put him at a 2 then, right? I think
mhm. Yeah,
okay.
he.
So oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he is a viable pilot for a couple characters later on, and the blades and shape change he can give is useful, but he's not as appealing as he pops out at the end. So there's probably better options for pilots than him.
Yeah, we're gonna be taking a look at the pilot trait when we come up to it.
Yeah,
But yeah, you can pick any for the pilot trait. You can pick any um point on his
any
dial,
character that
right?
meets whatever the conditions for that pilot is. I mean, like there's a blade later on that's piloted by Blade or Monster. I'm forgetting,
Okay.
but
All right. So
I'm
Blade we
not going to
have
check.
at so if we take a look at our tier makers, so far we have
Monster, yeah.
Ghost Rider at single, Robbie Reyes at double, and then Blade at double. So there's our tier maker. Let's look at the next figure in the set, which is Werewolf. Werewolf
Mm-hmm.
is set number 4. He's a generic. He's got animal, monster, and mystical keyword. Werewolf is let's see, trait Moon, Harvest, or Blood. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6 for all friendly characters with a Moon trait. Werewolf can use the resulting effect until your next turn. 1 through 4 shape change, so a lot of times Werewolf just has shape change, and
Mm-hmm.
then 5 through 6 modify attack +1 and flurry, which is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So I think this is also a 2. I mean, I would put
I think
this at a
so.
2.
Likely won't see constructed play outside of very specific avenues, but for sealed, Yeah, very cheap. You can fit on basically whatever team you're running, and the blades, the shape change, very hard to put down figure. He'll do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, you get the yeah. This can definitely deal out damage, and then when we get all the way to the chases, there's Capwolf, which I don't know
Yeah.
but we're not up there yet. We're
Right.
not up to there yet. So all right. So Werewolf, yeah, definitely I'm gonna put him at a 2. And then let's look
Howard,
at the next figure, which is Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Okay, so
Mhm.
Howard the Duck is set number 5, and he has um, defenders, animal, celebrity, martial artist, mystical, and politician keywords.
Mhm.
He's a team player, and he has the trait Quackshot, range combat expert, and probability control, but only to target himself. He's 30 points. He can target out of adjacency. He has stealth, and he has stealth and combat reflexes, which is always a good
Mhm.
combo. And he's
Yep.
got perplex, and he's tiny size. I just really like this figure.
This is
Uh,
good figure. Not a lot of damage output, but he's only 30 points.
yeah, he's a 30 point
Solid,
perplex, right?
yeah, solid support that can occasionally do a little plink of damage to your opponents.
yeah.
You can't ask for much more.
I mean, as far as our tier maker's concerned, or what level we would put him at, would it be a single or a double espresso? I
Oh,
think
hmm. This is a tough one. I mean, for sealed, he's double. For
for
constructed, there's probably better support options than him out there. I think I'll only give him a single, but I could be talked into either one
yeah,
without much difficulty.
I think I would put him at a single just because
Okay.
I mean in sealed he's definitely a double because he's a good cheap source of perplex. But
Like him with me.
yeah, I don't know. I think competitive he doesn't really he there like you said there's better options.
Yeah.
So I'll put him at single. All right. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then we have zombie.
Zombies.
So this is set number 6. Zombie has Zombie's interesting because he has the underworld TA, um,
Monster and mystical.
monster and mystical. So I mean, kind of reminds me a little bit of like a replacement for Moloid almost
Mm-hmm.
because it's a cheap empower.
Yeah, sidestep and power for 20 points, and underworld keyword with decent underworld team ability with decent keywords. It's
Yeah, that's really good.
yeah.
And also, you don't even need to play him at that line. If you want to play him at 2 different other
Mm-hmm.
lines, there's other options for you to play him at. So
Yeah, the charge shape change option is probably the weakest of the bunch. But the poison invulnerable is potentially really useful. The 7 speed it has there is solid. This is a very fast zombie that will just run you down and latch onto you. But um, it's an annoying thing for your opponent to deal with. That he dealing the damage necessary to crack the invulnerable or devote one of their better attackers with their exploit or side blast to taking him out. Probably not what they want to do with their actions early in the game. But they also can't leave him sitting there just gnawing on whatever support piece you ran him up to with the poison. That'll cost them long term. It's a solid option. But yeah, I think most teams are going to be using him with the sidestep and empower. Just a easy reposition, and damage bumps are always welcome.
yeah, but like you said, the invuln at 20 points, 3 clicks of
Mm-hmm.
invuln is crazy because you have to like you said you have to if you have to deal with it, you have to like either outwit it or you have to deal pen damage and like figure out a way to KO it, and it's only 20 points.
Right, he's soaking up more resources from your opponent than they want to give to just getting 20 points.
So I'm gonna put him at 2. I think 2. Right?
I think 2, yeah, high 2, maybe low 3, because I think he actually will see constructed play, but he's never going to be the star of the team he's on. Just a really useful niche filler.
Is he a pulp figure or?
Oh, easily, yeah. He's going to see play in every constructed format, I think.
So
there's going to be a lot of teams that just want him. It feels weird giving him a 3-star because he's never the star of the team he's on. three shot. But there's a lot of teams, I think, that are just going to, want that monster or mystical, easy repositioning that he offers with the sidestep and the power. We saw Moloid see a lot of play, and he's right up that alley.
So maybe we'll give him a 2-star then. We'll give him a double espresso. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's like the star of the show for any team, and so like I don't know if I would put him in triple espresso pulp, but yeah, put him in double espresso.
Sounds good.
And then our next figure is Mummy.
Ooh, mummies. So.
Mummy is set number 7. Very interesting figure here. Monster, mystical past, ruler keywords, invincible, his whole dial. Mummy can't be healed or chosen for mastermind. And Metallica reference with the creeping death. A lot of 8. I hear. I haven't looked at all the dials. I'm just kind of like the first time looking through all the dials, but I heard that there's a lot of like 80s hairband references or metal references. I'm not sure.
Supposedly, yeah. So I've heard.
This, let's see, 3 speed with sidestep. There's very low speed, but I mean, look at the dial. There's 6 clicks in the dial for only 30 points.
Yeah, 6 click, 30 points. Super strength, so you can be pit maneuvering terrain around. Have the your mummies come in, sidestep to get rid of the whatever block barriers your opponents put down.
And he can move for free every turn because he's got sidestep.
Right.
So
yeah.
So like he's not taking up an action, and he's got 6 clicks of invincible. Like
yeah. For 30 points, that is amazing. Your opponent does knock him down a little bit in the back half where he's swinging 11-4 for 30 points.
So,
I
still want to give him a 1. I'm not sure.
As cheap as he is, as hard up down as he is, I don't know what team wants to run him. As much as I'd love this figure, I think, yeah, one shot.
Yeah. But, I mean, I do like the figure. So, let's take a look at, after Mummy is Fire
Demon.
Fire Demon. Okay.
Yeah.
As Guardian, Monster, and Mystical, he's got the Mystics TA. His trait is Fight Fire with Fire. Interesting trait name. And then once per turn, when opposing character deals damage to Fire Demon, if that damage wasn't from an attack after resolutions, deal that opposing character 1 penetrating damage. So, let me read again. So, once per turn, when an opposing character deals damage to
poison, Mystics TA, damage from fire terrain markers. We'll get to those later on.
Okay.
Not knockback, because knockback isn't from the character. That's just rules say you take damage. But yeah, there's a lot of ways out there to do that. Damage can get ticked on that isn't because of an attack. Yeah, I mean, there's what the tarot cards, the mind control and incap tarot cards do after resolutions. Anytime that hits Fire Demon, he just throws a penetrating damage back at whoever the attacker was.
Okay.
Constructed, he's Herbal D. Sealed, I'd probably put him at 2 stars.
Really?
There is a lot of mystics in this set, and what is normally a deterrent against your opponent attacking a figure is Fire Demon looks at it and goes, "Hoo free bonus damage."
But I mean, the only thing with Seal, I agree with you, but like also he is like he does seem. I mean, he has 6 clicks.
Mm-hmm.
He's get 45 points,
Yeah.
but his speed value is pretty low. It's a 6 speed.
Pretty low. There are plenty of characters that can carry him out. I mean, he's 45 points. He's not the star of your team, but your opponent's running some big chunky Ghost Rider mystics. You can just have him charge in, hit with blades, and then deal an extra penetrate damage back to the Ghost Rider on top of it after the mystics feeds back onto him. Your opponent's running fire terrain. You can just throw him into the fire terrain to deal the opponent damage. Come their next turn. He's really useful for just. I mean, you have to like sort of embrace that kamikaze attitude of just you're going in there and you're going to take damage, but your opponent's going to take more.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good style of play too, especially in sealed. I like that. Yeah. But I mean, like, he's definitely an herbal tea in constructed. So I guess why don't we average that out and we'll just put him at a single espresso.
Sure thing. Works for me.
So we'll put him at single. And then let's see. Next after Fire Demon is
Vampires.
We're getting a lot of like classic.
A lot of monsters, yeah.
A lot of classic monsters. Okay, which I like to see. So Vampire is he's got the Vampire Brood and monster keywords. So is Vampire Brood a new keyword or
It's actually an old keyword. It was originally in the Undead Gravity feed.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can play those together. That's really good. So, he's set number 9. He's got the trait Raining Blood. Vampire starts the game on click number 3. Steal Energy. When Vampire uses it, he may heal past his starting line.
Yeah.
On click number 3. Okay. He's 25 points. Starts with stealth and shape change and toughness.
He ain't bad, but the lack of move and attack means that getting his healing train going is going to be a little difficult. You kind of have to just walk him up and cross your fingers that shape change does the rest for you. So I can't say I love him. In sealed though, he is a cheap flyer, and that's worth a fair bit. So I'd put him at 1 star. When we get to Dracula, though, you'll see there is a lord in this set that really jazzes up the base vampires.
Okay, so let's put him at single espresso, 1 star, and then move on to the next figure. So
yeah,
we have Night Nurse. Set number 10. She's 20 points. She has support as a damage power, and also adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with Night Nurse can reduce penetrating damage. This has got potential, I feel. Also, she's got 18 defend for 20 points.
Never a bad thing. Yeah.
That's a really high defend value for 20 points. Yeah, I mean, I think and she's got the scientist keyword. I think she could be really good on pulp teams for sure. I think she might be a 3 in pulp. And
easy 3-star for pulp.
Yeah, and even like possibly constructed. I don't know. Like if you're playing like a tent pole that needs to reduce penetrating damage or something like that, you can just throw her on and like I don't know, like any figure that could use that kind of damage reduction.
She's not quite as good of a healer as Aunt May is, but the possibility of letting things reduce penetrating damage really is not something you'd want to look past. Defenders, Heroes for Hire, Marvel Knights, Scientists are not the widest array of keywords, but if you have a keyword cheater that can work with her, great. And I mean, who knows what we're going to see coming down the pipeline in a little bit.
Okay.
Definitely a figure to keep an eye on.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna put her in triple pulp. If
Mm-hmm.
I think she's definitely something to look at for pulp. Um, Even though she is a support figure.
Yeah.
And next after Night Nurse is
Yeti.
Yeti for 45 points.
Mm-hmm.
He's an animal, brute, monster, and mystical keywords. Set number 11. Trait, Himalayan Home. Modify Yeti's defense +1 for each action token they have. And then an attack power, Angry again, Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Super Strength.
Yeah.
I'm
I won't.
kind of meh on him. I don't know.
Yeah. I think he ranks in herbal tea. There is certainly something to be said for him in sealed. He's a giant, so he can carry basically everyone in the set. Uh, so as a really poor taxi, I mean, if you don't have better options, he's something. Sure, he can throw a punch, but 10 attack isn't great. 6 speed charge, not great. He gets a defense bonus for each action token he has, which is cool, but he also has giant size willpower, so he will be clearing action tokens quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
He's very rarely going to have more than a +1.
Yeah.
Does a couple things. Just none of them are particularly great, but in sealed, if you don't have a better taxi, if you need that tertiary attacker, he's there.
Yeah, I mean, Super Strength is very good power to have.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's got Blade, so he can deal damage. Um, he can dish out some damage, but you're right. He's got kind of like low values, and he's for 45 points. It's actually kind of high for I think his values, and also
Yeah.
he's just kind of he would be there as your taxi because he's a giant.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna put him at a herbal tea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then let's look at
Ooh, Frenchie.
Frenchie.
This is I think, our first triple shot. No conditionals on that statement. He's just good wherever.
Yeah, he's good wherever. So he's got detective, which is a great keyword, pilot,
Mm-hmm.
soldier, and vehicle. Real name Jean-Paul Duchamp. And ride like the wind is his trait. At the beginning of the game, you may choose a friendly character with a vehicle keyword that hasn't been chosen by another
Bills have been,
set
yeah.
number 12, Frenchie. If you do, turn Frenchie to any click and place him on the chosen character's card. This game, that character can use the powers displayed on Frenchie's dial, and when the chosen character is KO'd, place Frenchie into the square that character last occupied on click number 1.
Yeah. There's plenty of vehicles in the set. A lot of them are really good. And Frenchie just sits here going, do you want stealth, energy explosion, perplex? Do you want precision strike, willpower enhancement? Or do you want sidestep and close combat expert?
Yeah,
Get your pick.
those are all insane powers too. It's like
Right.
great power set.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. 25 points. He's basically an equipment that isn't an equipment, so you can just have an equipment and have Frenchie on the vehicle and the pilot for the vehicle if the vehicle has a pilot trait.
and
He just
it is mandatory to place him like when the character gets
I don't.
KO'd.
Oh yeah, when the character is KO'd, yeah, he has to pop out. You can't just say, no, I'm not giving you the chance to score him. He's staying off in off in the nether. It's
But yeah, I definitely put him at a 3. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
French is really cool.
Yeah. I also heard people wanting to do nesting doll Frenchies just for giggles. This is a terrible strategy. I don't recommend doing it, but it is funny. Yeah, Frenchie
Also,
A puts himself on Frenchie B. Frenchie B then puts himself on Frenchie C. Then Frenchie C puts himself on Frenchie D, and so on and so forth until you have your entire force of Frenchies just balanced on top of each other. They're It accomplishes nothing other than making your opponent waste a lot of time just KOing a 25-point character every turn over and over and over again until the game finally runs out. But it is very silly.
So there is our tier maker so far. This Frenchie is our first triple espresso, and I believe we're done with the commons.
Yep.
So let's jump into the uncommons. We have Nightmare, set number 13. Nightmare is cosmic deity, monster, mystical, and ruler keywords. It seems like every Nightmare, it looks like he has an insanely high attack values, which should be the case, right? It's Nightmare.
Yeah.
So, this one is no different. He's got a trait, Enter Sandman, incapacitate opposing characters within range that have 2 action tokens, can't have their action tokens removed except by clearing, and then a speed power, mind control, and stealth. The speed power is on his 115-point line. So...
Yep.
I don't know about him.
I don't think anyone is running him at 115, even in sealed. If you are, you pulled very poorly, and I'm sorry to hear that. At 55, though, he is a source of outwit, and in sealed, that's always a good thing to have. 6 range is a pretty long range, 11 attack, 2 damage isn't great, but you can out defense values, or just incap. He can shut off your opponent's leaderships and willpowers and everything else that can clear action tokens out. You know, they can take an action, he locked them down with willpower, and they are going to have to waste the turn clearing.
Oh, I want to also point out, I mean, I don't know if you guys, I mean, like, anybody watching knows about the lamp strategy, about, like, right? Lockjaw, armor
piercing, mastermind, poison.
But
he has mastermind, he has poison, he has outwit, which we can vaguely approximate the armor piercing, at least for a single character.
And he's got plasticity, so that makes it even more annoying. So
right. If you pull a really good taxi type character, having a Nightmare, just ride shotgun with him around the map, just plop him down, outwit poison, incap your Fed attacks back on him, and then just sit there every turn, just ticking away with the poison. For sealed, I like it a lot. For constructed, there are better ways to go about that strategy.
So,
but for pulp, I hadn't considered him for pulp, but he might be the best thing for lamp in pulp.
Yeah,
definitely worth
just putting him next to someone, like plopping him next to somebody with the plasticity is super annoying, and then outwit and poison, and then mastermind on top of that, so he can mastermind onto whoever he's next to.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just put him at the 2-shot espresso for pulp. I think he might actually have a future there.
All right, let's put him at double. Let's put Nightmare in double espresso. Okay, good. And let's take a look at, after Nightmare, we have Robbie Reyes. This is the uncommon Robbie Reyes. Avengers, Fantastic Four, Shield, Wakanda, Monster, and Mystical keywords. He's got the Mystics trait. Mystics TA. Mystics TA. Spirit of Vengeance trait. I'm going to read this just because this is going to appear a lot on a lot of the figures in this set. The Spirit of Vengeance trait, so I might as well just read the whole trait. When Robbie Reyes attacks an opposing character that took damage from Mystics since your last turn, he deals penetrating damage. If the friendly character that dealt damage from Mystics also had this trait, Robbie Reyes increases damage dealt by +1 during that attack. And he also has a damage power, perplex. He can modify the chosen combat value +2 or -2 instead if the target shares at least 2 keywords.
Avengers, Fantastic Four, Monster, Mystical, Shield, and Wakanda. He has a good spread of keywords. It's also worth remembering that he definitely shares 2 or more keywords with himself, so that's always a +2 perplex when he points it at himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes him a little bit, I feel like, better because He looked like he was a little bit with the 17 ESD defense up front. It looked a little bit weak, but he can perplex that up to a 19. So.
Mm-hmm. Other thing worth keeping in mind too, if he gets knocked down to the energy explosion clicks, the Spirit of Vengeance trait. As long as he is targeting a character that took damage from Mystic since your last turn, damage he deals is penetrating, and damage dealt is increased by 1. If he energy explosions and just happens to catch one character in that burst that dealt damage to someone with Mystics, then the damage is penetrating for all the characters in that attack.
And is it 3? Is it
3 and it's damage? Well, if he hits that qualifier, yeah, it'll be 3 damage to all the character. Things need to line up a little bit. It's not reliable, but when it happens, you're going to want to know that that's how that works.
I still think I would put him at a 1, I think.
I think so, too, yeah.
Yeah.
He can serve as a decent attacker if you need an attacker, but there are better attackers that to be found in the set. And constructed-wise, speaking sealed, constructed, yeah, he's going to get passed over.
All right, so we'll put him at a single espresso.
Speaking of better attackers.
Speaking of better attackers, we have Modred the Mystic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Modred the Mystic is Battle World, Weird World, Mystical, and Past. Mm-hmm. And his trait is the Wizard. Opposing characters' combat values except range can't be modified when attacking Modred the Mystic or being attacked by Modred the Mystic. So that's good. And then he's got a trait, another trait, deal Modred the Mystic 1 of unavoidable damage, modify his attack and damage +1 this turn. Which, I mean, if you do that on your first attack with him, that puts him on click 2, so then he's 11 attack for 4 damage with prob and energy explosion if you want to use it.
Yeah.
So
he can potentially be healed back off that if you're running him with, say, I can't remember the nurse's name. Night Nurse.
Oh, Night Nurse. Okay.
Right. I mean, she's a common. You're likely to see her in sealed. You can pair him up with her, deal the damage, support back up, and then you're swinging 12 for 4 with penetrating psychic blast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the same points as the Robbie Reyes we just looked at, but he has better range, better swing, 3 penetrate damage right off the bat, and then as he gets down, he can start manipulating his dial and the powers he has available a little bit by taking the unavoidable to switch over to the next click down. As he gets further down, he starts seeing clicks with a side blast and prob, or excuse me, potentially enhancement clicks. Damage him onto an enhancement click so that a friendly character gets a damage bump as well as him when they attack. I really like Motrin.
So would you
especially for sealed?
Would you put him at a 2 or probably a
2? I think 2. Yeah.
Okay.
If modifier play starts becoming a thing in Pulp, I could see him possibly creeping up on a Pulp team, because that Wizard trait, we saw it before with Weird World back in the day, it's a really annoying trait if your opponent is leaning heavily on modifiers, flexing their stuff up.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, to keep him, yeah, like you said, so he's modifying his attack and damage,
right?
But then your opponent, whoever you're attacking, is not going to be able to modify their defense. So and you're going to have prob most likely.
Yeah.
So you're probably hitting with you know. So,
yeah.
So yeah, let's put him at a 2. Double espresso. All right. Next is
Manwolf.
Manwolf. Set number 16, Spider-Man family, animal, cosmic, monster, police keywords. John Jonah Jameson III.
Mhm.
I don't know if I know this character, but it's pretty cool actually. I like the.
He's J. Jonah Jameson's astronaut son.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Um,
So
I don't the character. I know he like went to the moon and came back a werewolf because comic books.
he also has that Moon Harvester blood trait that the
Hmm.
werewolves have. So potentially +1 attack and flurry most of the time, shape change, and then also he's got plasticity and stealth traded. Free place Manwolf in a square of hindering terrain within 4 squares in line of fire. Ooh, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because he can potentially swing for 8 squares. Um, and he has stealth, so you're placing him in stealth. Yeah, I like that. For 60
Oh yeah.
points, 60 points, I mean, it seems like a lot, but yeah,
Eight eight square swing, 12 attack, flurry, 3 damage.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and with precision strike too, that's
Right.
crazy. Yeah, yeah,
And I mean if you don't roll that 5 or 6 to get the attack and the flurry, he still shape change and has the Spider-Man family, so he has a 6 only super senses.
yeah, and you can,
He's a,
that's potentially copyable too. This by ETA,
yeah.
so if you're playing him with somebody
And,
else,
and imperv top click. He has every rollout. Super
yes,
senses 1 isn't as good as it normally is, but every roll, yeah. um, for sealed easy play, you pull him, you run him unless you pull very very good other things like Cathan.
hmm
Uh, for pulp, he might actually start creep into pulp a little bit just as a secondary attacker.
I could see that. I could definitely see
Mm-hmm.
that in pulp. So I'm gonna put him at a triple pulp.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah, triple pulp. And after Manwolf is Elsa Bloodstone.
Mm-hmm.
So Elsa Bloodstone, when an opposing character that hit Elsa Bloodstone would this turn would heal 1 or more clicks, deal them 1 unavoidable damage instead. Safeguard
Safeguard Mystics.
Mystics. That's kind of nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And then an attack power, stakes and silver. Precision strike when Elsa Bloodstone attacks opposing characters with a monster or mystical keywords can't use mastermind or shape change.
Yeah. Elsa is cute. I like the Bloodstone protection, and we've seen plenty of characters with steel energy or otherwise heal in the damage stuff in modern lately. But I just don't think she's good enough on the whole that matters.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think so. I mean, she's
and then yeah,
go
for
ahead.
sealed play, there's not enough of the steel energy type stuff. That I think that matters there either, but for just different reasons. Stakes and silver, though, there are plenty of characters with monster or mystical and shape change that she'll ruin the days of. So if you pull her in sealed, worth playing. But outside of that, yeah, just a pass.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, she's 65 points. She's a lot. She's a large point expenditure for what she does.
Yeah,
So I put her at a single espresso.
I think single espresso is fine. Probably even generous.
You think so? Okay. All right. So let's see. After Elsa is Simon Garth.
Mm-hmm.
Simon Garth. Okay, so this is like I don't know this character that much either. Is Simon Garth like a super zombie, or he's on the Howling Commandos? So.
Yeah, I don't know him super well, but he's a zombie who's bound to this amulet, and whoever holds the amulet can order him around unless he has the amulet himself, and then he's kind of like free willed.
Okay.
But yeah, Simon Garth here, kind of similar to the movie, where he's a lot cheaper than you would expect for given the powers and, in his case, combat values. He has 11 attack, 4 damage, exploit, 6 clicks long, 50 points is really, really good. But speed could be better. He's probably not the thing you're really looking to pull. If you get him with one of the motorcycles or hell cycle that's coming up later in sealed, he will wreck face. If you don't have some wheels to put under him, he's probably not going to do a lot for you because your opponent will likely shoot him up before he gets into relevant range.
Yeah, or they'll mind control him and use them against him.
That is the other thing, too, where adjacent opposing characters can mind control him. He gets Battle Fury afterwards, so you're not going to mind control him multiple times unless they burn the Outwit to take the Battle Fury away. But it is rough.
Yeah. All right. So I put him. Is this a herbal tea or is this a single espresso?
I think single espresso. The combat values on him are difficult to look away from, but you need to have the tools to make them work for you, or he's just not going to do what you need him to do.
Okay. So
yeah, he's high herbal tea, low espresso, low one-shot espresso.
Okay. So then after Simon, we have Nikantu.
Yep.
And Nikantu is very much like the Mummy, only even longer dial.
Yep.
And his invincible is protected outwit.
Yep.
So that's even crazier.
And can sidestep twice a turn.
Yes, he can sidestep twice a turn.
With his...
You don't even have to move him, to be honest with you. You can just go 4 every turn.
Right? The super strength, double sidestep and super strength gives you a lot of options to customize the map as you're just shuffling terrain around to help you out. I really like him. I think he's really good. I balk a little bit at the 60-point cost, even for what he's bringing.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be competitive.
Yeah.
But
much as I love...
In casual fun games, like, he's definitely not a bad figure.
But, yeah, constructed play, they're going to chew through the dial before he gets into real relevant range. It's...
Okay, so put him at a 1 also?
I think 1 shot is fine. Sealed, he could seal some season play in sealed. I would not be sad to pull him in sealed, but past that, I don't... He's not something I'm going to be reaching for.
Okay, next is...
Werewolf by Night.
Okay, Werewolf by Night is... He's got the werewolf trait just like the other ones we saw. But he's got traded leadership. That's good.
Yeah, I think is he our first leadership that we've seen?
I think so.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Leadership, so he's like a must-play in sealed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's not just leadership. It's leadership, and when he succeeds, move a character with the monster keyword 1 square. And if you run him at the 80-point line, he can instead move any number of friendly characters with the monster keyword 1 square.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's insane. That's really good.
Yeah.
And at 4, even at 50 points, you're getting moves through elevated, moves through characters, and potential charge, 12 attack, flurry blades.
Battle Fury to cut through shape change. Yeah, it's... No, I ran him in
and he can move himself 1 square when he hits leadership, too.
Absolutely, he can.
So,
it's fun when you run in the 80, you hit that success, and you have multiple characters that can carry each other, just leapfrogging around.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where like you're playing against your opponent, and they're just outside your reach, and they forgot about your leadership, and then you hit your leadership, and you move up 1 square, and then you charge.
The leadership will definitely catch people by surprise. And I mean, every other character in the set is a monster. You will not be wanting for monsters to move around with hidden sealed.
So I have to say double espresso.
Double espresso, yeah.
And then we have blackout.
Blackout.
Um, blackout seems like he's too many points. I don't know. Like he does that when he has close combat. He's got a lot of high values though. I mean, seven speed hypersonic for 12-4.
Yeah.
He just seems like a lot of points.
Well,
yeah.
the back in black trait is a lot of those points. Poison, smoke cloud. Smoke cloud is free, but with a minimum range value of 1. And then damage dealt to opposing characters occupying his smoke trade markers is penetrating. So not just when he attacks, not just when he poisons, just if they're standing in his smoke, they take penetrating damage.
Okay.
You can hypersonic him up, take a swing, have him do a free smoke cloud for everyone around him, and then just light him up with the rest of your team.
Oh, because it's not just from him. It's
right. Come next turn, he can smoke cloud again, whoever's left standing, and just poison out the. If they do hit him off those really solid blades, hypersonic clicks, he picks up Mastermind at the back end of his dial. We were talking about lamp strategies before. He can do it too. Not off the bat, but it's on the table for him.
Mm-hmm. So when you smoke cloud at a minimum range value of 1, does that mean only squares that are
the square you're in and everything adjacent to you?
Everything adjacent to you. Yeah.
Well,
okay. Not necessarily adjacent.
Be adjacent.
Yeah,
right, because you could smoke cloud up an elevation or down elevation or whatever. But yeah.
Okay. So put him at a.
Well, here's the other thing. It's not a maximum range of 1. If he's adjacent to a couple of people with the shield TA, or you want to burn some perplexes on his range, you could get that up to 3. Or if you I don't know, you equip him with Galactus for that minimum of 6 range.
Oh wow! Yeah, if you equip him with the Galactus, that would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be really fun.
No, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
But point being, there are.
But what tier would we put him on for the espresso rating?
Between sealed,
single or double.
He won't see any play in regular constructed, but between pulp and sealed, I think people are going to be picking up on him a little bit. He also has the assassin keyword. He doesn't have the target trait, but he will work with other assassins that do have the target trait. I could see him rocking the double shot, I think.
Okay.
There's probably an assassin team in Pulp that wants to run him.
We'll put him at double.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Blackout, we have Ghost Rider. This is Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, set number 22. He's got improved movement, elevated, improved movement characters, 95 points. Giant Reach 2. When Ghost Rider hits an opposing character with a close attack after resolutions, you may place a hit character in a square adjacent to Ghost Rider. So placing other characters is always good. Oh, and he's just has penetrating damage.
Mm-hmm.
So just like in general. So you could
he is he's solid, but he's probably of any uncommon you could pull, he's probably near the bottom of the barrel. He's a lot of points for what he does. He's nearly a third of your build. And while he does have some potent stuff going for him, you're hoping to pull just about any other attacker, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like at 95 points, that's a lot of points.
Yeah.
So like even though he can deal like a good amount of damage. He's got high damage values, high attack values.
Mm-hmm.
But he might go down pretty quickly. I feel like, and then
Yeah,
that's like half. That's like a third of your build, and then you're done.
right. Once he gets knocked off those first 3 clicks, he falls off a cliff. Charge, Quake, Exploit is nice. The back end, the plasticity, regen, blades. Effectively 100 points. There are better things out there for you to be playing.
Okay. Yeah. So, put him at a single.
We could single him. We could herbal tea him.
Yeah, I think let's put him at herbal tea.
Yeah, it's, for as much damage potential as he has, the premium you're paying for it really just isn't worth it.
Okay.
Oh,
Then we have. Ooh, is this gonna be?
the
This gonna be
the
a good one.
stars of the CUR.
So after Ghost Rider, we have an equipment.
Yep.
It's an uncommon. So this is actually counts as this is not a character. It doesn't count as
It
a.
it
So a
no,
lot of people are
it
confused
is
by this. It's not a character, right?
it is not a character. On the cards, it has the little gear symbol. Gear symbol means it is a special object.
Okay.
So
But this one is Hell Cycle. There's two of them. There's Hell Cycle and there's Motorcycle. So this
and
one
I
is
mean
Hell Cycle.
we can honestly get through the both of them in one breath because they work the same. They're both 15 points. Both of them when you equip them. So you generally speaking with the being the aim when they're assigned. But if you have I don't know Mad Jim Jaspers or some other way to unequip and re-equip stuff, whenever they're equipped, you turn them to any of their 3 clicks, and they give the character they're equipped to the powers displayed on their dial, as well as a bump to their speed equal to whatever the printed number in their speed slot is. So, Hell Cycle. Sorry, I'm stealing the show here a little bit from you.
No, that's okay. I mean
uh,
I'm listening,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean you definitely are giving some really good information about these
Yeah.
equipments.
So
I
yeah.
think they're amazing. I think both
Oh,
these equipments are amazing. Like they're really good.
they are both triple espresso, hands down, no contest. But the Hell Cycle gives you either +1 speed, sidestep poison, +1 speed, hypersonic ESD, or +2 speed, leap climb, and mystics. Uh, all solid options. Different characters are going to want different ones, but you're not married to them when you assign the thing. You said it happens when they're equipped. So beginning of the game, you see what your opponent's running. You get your choice. Do I need the sidestep? Do I need the hypersonic? Maybe I just need that +2 speed in the IM from leap climb. And mystics is never a bad thing.
Yeah, well, it's important to remember too. Like the plus
Yeah.
to the speed is so good just by itself.
Oh,
Like if you
right. Yeah.
like if you're giving, let's say you have a figure that has 8 speed with charge, so that's
Mhm.
that's a 4 square reach, right?
Plus,
Now
yeah,
you're giving it
replace the
size.
modify.
Now you're
So
giving replace that modify, so it goes from 4 to a 5 square reach plus sidestep, so that's a 7 square reach,
yeah.
right? So.
Yep. You know, charge, but you give it the leap climb. So still it's only 6 squares, but now you have the improved movement for elevated outdoor blocking stride. It's
Yeah, and then if we look at the motorcycle,
much more generous the movement attack options than motorcycle. It either gives you +2 speed charge and super senses, +1 speed running shot and passenger one, or +1 speed IN characters free move 1 square and combat reflexes.
yeah,
Yeah, the options there again, all good. Yeah, all those characters out there that have had high speeds but no move and attack now have move and attack options. It's also worth noting that these are our first non-unique equipment. They say on the cards they are not unique, so your force can have as many motorcycles and hell cycles as you have characters to equip them to.
oh, that is really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, you can get your entire team up on some wheels and rolling across the map.
All right, so
So
yeah, I'm gonna put both of these at 3s.
Yeah.
They're easy
Yeah.
competitive figures.
They sadly will not see any play in pulp as they are not characters, so they don't qualify for pulp, even though they're at the right rarity. but Constructed is going to be running these things to the day they retire.
Okay, so then after motorcycle is Hand Ninja. This is the
Mm-hmm.
last uncommon. So Hand Ninja has stealth traded. He's 30 points. Or generic.
Yeah, 30 points, 6 clicks, Underworld, martial artist, the hand, and vehicle, which aren't the best options for Underworld, but they're not terrible. There are plenty of vehicles in the set, obviously, to be carried around. So, I'm sorry, I interrupted you again.
No, that's okay. When I'm just reading it. When Hand Ninja carries one or more friendly characters, those characters can use stealth until your next turn. Because he has the Underworld TA, so that's
Right.
why. Yeah, so that's why they can carry.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the speed power smoke bomb when Hand Ninja moves after resolution. I mean, smoke cloud as free. That's really good. Actually, you don't really see like a full smoke cloud as free too often.
Yeah, he does have to move, and he doesn't have sidestep, so it is effectively a costed action.
Oh, okay.
Unless you put him on a motorcycle and give him sidestep. You need to have your ninja on a motorcycle to really, double the motorcycles means double the stealth.
Yeah. Well, that's meta right there. That's meta
Right. You could also give him the passenger if the keywords aren't lining up with for Underworld, just slap that motorcycle on its passenger click, and there you go.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I think I would put this as a 1 though. I don't think it's I don't think it's competitive, and
yeah.
I mean, it's nifty.
I think 1. Yeah, 1 is fair. There's likely some team that's going to try to take advantage of him carrying up an important vehicle character, keeping things stealthed and smoke cloud while he's set up. But I don't think it's going to be a common sight. And even though his dial is long for 30 points, I don't think he does enough for you in sealed. But he is nice. It's a neat little guy.
So just to take a look at the tier maker right now, this is what we have for the commons and the uncommons. Let's jump right into the rares. We have
Alrighty.
Dracula. I've been waiting for a Dracula for a long time in
HeroClix. I love how this Dracula came out too.
So yeah. I mean, do you want to read through it, Brian, or?
Sure. So King of the Vampires, I mean, he's a vampire dial, not surprisingly, starts the game on click 4. Steal energy when he uses it, he can heal past his starting line. And then whenever Dracula or a friendly set number 9 vampire KOs an opposing character, after resolutions, you may generate a set number 9 vampire on starting click in a square the KO'd character last occupied. So this is really where those vampires are meant to be used. You don't really necessarily want to run them on their own so much, but Dracula can come swooping in, 8 speed charge, 12 attack, outwit, 4 damage. Just start popping off your opponent's support characters, turning them into vampires, and then sicking those vampires on the rest of their team. Also, Scent of Fresh Blood trait, when he damages one or more opposing characters, after resolutions, choose up to 2 other friendly characters that can use steal energy. This turn they have free, have speed, and move. So this trait and the King of the Vampires trait are both after resolutions, so you can stack them so that you generate the vampire first, then give the vampire that you just generated the free have speed move effect to help them get in there and keep snacking. Mm-hmm. And if you can heal him up at all, or you just get lucky enough to land on his last click, he has the Impaler speed special, charge, flurry, and stealth. And yeah, you get him anywhere past his starting line. You're looking at 19 invincible, 4 or 5 damage, exploit. He is a beast in sealed, especially if you're lucky enough to pull a vampire or 2 to really, really drive those attacks home. Constructed, probably not. Pulp, I think he's a solid maybe.
He's a maybe. I don't know. I mean, like for 125 points. I mean, I think people are going to be playing like Deathstroke and things like that instead, or
Possibly. I don't know if Deathstroke might actually fall off a little bit. I think now that Pulse Wave isn't as necessary a thing in Pulp, but I'm curious to see how that develops. Even then, I think he's a real easy figure though that you can just pick up, give to a new player, and they can do reasonably well with. He's very, very simple, very point and click, very flavorful, and hits like a truck.
Yeah, I mean, he's got great values all the way through, and I mean, the way he interacts with the vampires is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and yeah, vampire dials are fun, and this one works.
Oh yeah.
Well, so.
It's rare we see a vampire dial that I think is where the juice is worth the squeeze, but I think he gets there. He just needs a little bit of TK or something to help get the ball rolling, and then he will just eat your opponent's team alive.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna put him at a 2. I think.
I think 2 is fair.
Double espresso.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
So Iron Fist is I really like this Iron Fist. I think Iron Fist could be a 3.
I think 3 shots is reasonable for him. Not at 75, but at 30 points, absolutely. So
yeah,
for those not looking at the screen,
yeah,
he has both a 75 and a 30-point line.
Yeah, he's got a 75 point, a 30-point line. His speed power all the way through is Charge and Force Blast, and Force Blast as free, but only to target an adjacent character. So you can just run him up and then just Force Blast. It's kind of like, I feel like it's like a pressure point attack or something.
Yeah,
like that.
He is the king of formation disrupting. You can charge in. You also note that when he attacks one or more opposing characters, he gets +2 attack if any of the targets are multi-base, which there's a multi-base figure in every booster in the set, or have one or more of the following: giant-sized, colossal, or monster keyword. That's more than half of the set taken together, all those things. He is rocking +2 attack in sealed every attack he makes, more or less.
Oh yeah, and sealed, if you're playing with 75, that's a 14 attack.
Yeah. But you can charge on in. He's going to hit that first attack, 30 points or 75 points. That +2 is going to make sure that attack hits. He can knock back that character, possibly dinging him into a wall or off a building or whatever. Turn around to the next character he's looking at, Force Blast them away from him. You can possibly send your opponent's formation off in completely different directions. And then whoever he's left standing near, he has super sense to dodge out of the attacks that they throw his way. He is obnoxious. And in Constructed, people are going to be running him just for the 30-point line so they can carry up a bunch of Iron Fists, drop them down next to the opponent, and then just have them all free action Force Blast, just keep beating the guy into the same wall over and over and over again. Free damage.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'd love me a team that can move without touching dice.
Not to mention he has team player, so he can copy team player. You can give him potentially Underworld or any useful TA. You can give him Spidey TA to protect him.
Spidey TA keeps him safe. You could, if you're running with the Green Lantern, you give him the Green Lantern TA. Have a whole bunch of them on sidestep motorcycles where they're all sidestepping and carrying each other across the map. So they surround their victim, Force Blast to death, and just keep on rolling.
Yeah. So all right.
The image is funny, but it's potentially a really obnoxious team.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to face 10 Iron Fists.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be, I guess, fun. I don't know. It would be really cool. Somebody wants to play a 10 Iron Fist team. Then.
He's a 3-shot espresso, I think.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna put him at triple shot espresso. I think he's definitely useful, even if you're just playing one of him. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
definitely gonna be really useful on a team. So let's see. After Iron Fist is
Uh,
Zarathos.
Zarathos, the
Zarathos.
spirit of vengeance himself.
Yeah, and personally, I think this is really good in pulp. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he is. Actually, Lucas and I talked about this in our last episode, our last pulp episode. He was one of our. He made our top 10 for
Oh yeah.
pulp. Um, he's got the Screaming for Vengeance trait. Choose
Mm-hmm.
a friendly character. That character may make an attack, but only to target a character that, since your last turn, KO'd a friendly character, or KO'd a friendly standard character, or damaged Zarathos.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like making somebody a retail, almost like.
Sort of, yeah. It doesn't have the placement effect, so they have to still line up an attack on their own. But
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, he can target himself with that. You run him at 125 in pulp, your opponent will hit him, knock him to his stop click. That's just one click down. He can regen back up to full, and then take a free action 12 for 4 to shoot the opponent, whoever hit him, for 4 penetrating. It's silly. Your opponent has to devote multiple attacks into him in one turn. It's just not worth swinging on him otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Then leaving. So at 125, I think Pulp he sees play easily. At 30 points, honestly think he can start creeping into constructed play as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you because he has that spirit of he's giving that Screaming for Vengeance trait.
Mm-hmm.
That you're getting that for 30 points. He's got sidestep prob. Um,
Yeah,
he's got this
the
this
ability to hit, because
yeah.
I mean, we mentioned that he can point at himself for the free attack, but at 30 points, yeah, he's pointing at someone else. You can run up, drop some bystanders in front of your opponent's team, give them threats that they have to deal with, and then when they do pop those bystanders, the stop signs, the chainsaws, whatever your constructs, whatever you're dropping on them, have your big attacker can come lumbering in. Zarathos snaps his fingers, and they get a full attack on him with prop backup from Zarathos.
Does that work? I mean, the bystanders aren't standard characters, though. I think it has to be a standard character, right? Or
Oh,
no?
friendly standard character. No, you're
Yeah,
right. My mistake. Missed that little detail. Still,
but
there
yeah, I
are
mean, this
plenty
is
of
still there's plenty of like little characters that you can plot.
like a 30-point Iron Fist who's just
Like a
sits
third.
there, yeah, slamming your guys against walls, daring them to punch him back while Zarathos stares over their shoulder.
Nice. Yeah. So Zarathos. I mean, he's creeping up into triple espresso. I definitely want to put him at triple pulp, just
Definitely
because.
triple pulp. I honestly think he could qualify triple in general.
Yeah, just triple in general. Okay.
Yeah, he's
All
a
right.
solid
All right.
figure.
Let's put him triple in general. Let's put him triple
Yeah.
espresso. Yeah. So that way he qualifies for both, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and Iron Fist would qualify for both as well, right? He would be also a
Oh
triple.
yeah, yeah, he's triple no matter what.
So, all right. So then after Zarathos is Damon Hellstrom.
Mm.
This is the non-prime. There's also a
Yep.
prime version of him. Okay, so
So yeah, it comes in at 80 or 40 with the 40-point line starting on click number 5 out of 8. So he's got an attack special, Netheranium Trident, Blades Claws Fangs, Giant Reach 2. When he hits, after resolutions, we generate a fire smoke terrain marker and hit character square. At the beginning of your next turn, even if this is lost, deal 1 damage to each character occupying that marker, then remove that marker. He then has a damage special, Expert in Exorcism, Outwit. When you use it, you may roll a d6. 1 through 2, this use of Outwit has no effect. 3 through 6, until your next turn, the targeted character can't use standard powers unless they're displayed on their dial, in addition to the chosen power.
ooh,
Yeah. 80 points. I mean, they pulled him in sealed. That run him about 80 points in sealed easily. But for constructed, for pulp, I could see him being running at 40 points because he does have access to that special outwit power on his 40-point starting line.
So just to be clear, that special outwit power, that means that you would not be able to use like special powers that are only the. Am I right or am I wrong about that? If let's say you rolled a 3 through 6,
right,
and it said until your next turn, the targeted character can't use standard powers unless they're displayed on the dial. So displayed on the dial means that
literally whatever's printed on the dial itself, currently visible through the dial window.
So it can't be a trait. Any
right.
Any standard powers that are part of a trait would not.
Right.
Count.
If they have traded super senses, they can't use it. If they have cosmic energy, they can't be targeted to begin with. But if somehow you target them through cosmic energy, they would lose the willpower that team ability granted. Or better example, if they had Batman ally, they would lose the stealth from that team ability.
What about special powers?
So they technically have the special powers, but if the special power is granting them standard powers, like say a move special that's Charge Flurry, they can't use those standard powers because they're not visible on the dial.
Yeah. Okay.
But a special power that is something else entirely, like a special speed spell, is just like free move 3 squares. That works because that's not a standard power.
Yeah, this is reminiscent of the Black Widow.
Yes, it's basically the same effect as that Black Widow.
Okay, yeah,
and that Black Widow saw plenty of play for more reasons than just this, but
yeah, that was a very potent part of her power set. Though.
Yeah.
So what do we give Damon Hellstrom then? I mean, at 40 points, I think he might be competitive, right? Or
at 40 points, I think he is competitive. Yeah, I'm fairly certain we will see him starting to crop up on teams, even in constructed. Definitely in pulp. It's 8 speed phasing, and that outwit can just rip characters apart.
Yeah, unless you roll like I roll, like with the 1 and 2.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah,
no traits, no equipment, no special power. Yeah, if it's not a color on the dial, you don't get to play with it. Is obnoxious.
Yeah. All right, so we'll put him at a 3 then, triple.
Yep.
Or do we say double?
I think triple is fine for him. Yeah.
Okay.
And he'll never be the star of the team he's on, but he's good. I think we're going to see him crop up on a fair number of teams.
And he's got really good keywords too.
Oh yeah.
All right. So then after that, we have the Prime.
Yep.
All right. This is the fiery-looking Damon Hellstrom.
Mm-hmm.
Trait: Son of Satan. Damage dealt to opposing characters within range and line of fire is penetrating. Damage dealt to opposing characters within range of line of fire is penetrating. That's just like from anybody.
From any source.
From any source.
It doesn't even need to be from characters. Like you can knock them back into a wall. It's still penetrating damage.
Yes. Okay. That's nice. I like that. And then Damon Hellstrom only takes damage from attacks. So you can't like poison him or anything like that.
Yep. No poison. No mystics. Unavoidable damage does creep through that.
Oh.
So okay. When we get to like say Cthon later on, if Cthon is possessing him, then the unavoidable from that does hurt him. Nothing blocks unavoidable damage.
Okay. And he's got the attack power, energy explosion, quake, giant reach 2, damage power, range combat expert. When Damon Hellstrom hits, after resolutions, you may generate a fire smoke terrain marker in a hit target square. At the beginning of your next turn, even if this is lost, deal 1 damage to each character occupying that marker, then remove the marker. So at 65 points, I mean, that damage power still combos with charge, because even though he's got the RCE, which doesn't seem intuitive, but then like because there's the two slash line there.
Yep, it's
On
a separate effect.
it's a separate effect, so it just says when he hits. So you can charge in and hit, and then generate the fire marker.
He's got options. You can charge in for 11-3, or if you can get the range lined up without needing to move, it's 12-4 for 65 points. It really ain't bad, and it's going to be penetrating damage too, because
Yeah.
if he can shoot him, he can definitely see him.
And then the extra damage from the fire marker, which is really good.
Right.
And if that's penetrating too, that'll be penetrating as well.
And it puts your opponent in a bit of a tight situation where they either need to move out of that square to avoid the fire burning them, possibly wasting their action, or they can make the attack back, but then they have to commit themselves to getting burned by that fire.
Yeah. I don't think this is actually as good as the first Damon Hellstrom we looked at, though.
I think you're right, to be honest. The he ain't bad, and turning everything penetrating is certainly the sort of game warping effect you want to see on a prime. But so many heavy attackers already have access to penetrating damage, so I don't know if that kit he's bringing is necessarily something a lot of teams are really looking for.
Yeah, I mean, if he was less points and he did what he did, because I mean, there's a lot of other. I mean, in the competitive scene, 65 points is a lot, and you can get like really potent attackers for 65 points.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he had like a smaller point line where you were just using him for that Son of Satan trait, then I think that would be cool. But I mean, I think for Damon, I would put him at maybe a double espresso.
One shot, two shot, somewhere in there, I think is fine.
Yeah. Maybe because he's a prime and there's so many prime slots that are out there, I would put him at a single.
Yeah, that's fair.
Put him at a single espresso. But then now we have an exciting one.
Oh yeah.
After Damon Hellstrom, we have Blackheart. So Blackheart is really, really good. He's 100 points or 50 points. I think he's very competitive at the 50-point line, both in pulp and in competitive. He has the Hellfire Club, Deity, Monster, Mystical, and Ruler keywords. Trait, Prince of the Underworld. Free. Choose up to 2 adjacent friendly characters with the monster or mystical keyword. Place Blackheart in a square of hindering terrain within range, then place the chosen characters adjacent to Blackheart. And another trait, Brimstone. At the beginning of your turn, generate a fire smoke terrain marker in a square within range. At the beginning of your next turn, even if this is lost, deal 1 damage to each character occupying that marker, then remove that marker.
Yep.
But what's really cool about him is that he can generate that fire smoke terrain marker 5 squares away without needing line of fire, and then he can place himself into that that fire terrain marker because it is it does count as hindering terrain.
It is smoke. Yep, makes it hindering.
I mean, and assuming that your opponent doesn't like outwit his defense, then he just won't take damage from that.
Right.
because he has reducers, so he can do that and then bring 2 characters with him, right? Like that have the same keyword.
No, he is really, really good. Even at 100 points, just being able to poof a couple characters 5 squares out before he goes in running shots away, another 4, and see, that's a 14 square swing. Get a couple perplexes, maybe from Robbie getting his speed up. He can clear the map and all on his own. At 100 points, he possibly bringing a couple friends along for the ride too.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a power on his 50-point line. 100-point line, he's doing running shot pen psi with perplex. There's nothing really bad we could say about him. He's really good.
Yeah.
My friend Matt Ventura, shout out to him. He was gonna be with us on this recording, and he told me to give Blackheart a 4-star.
I don't think he necessarily deserves a 4-star, but yeah, he's an easy triple shot espresso.
All right, so let's put him at triple.
Yeah.
Then we have Sasquatch.
Yep.
He's 85 points. Beginning of your turn, choose one for Sasquatch to use until he chooses again. Perplex, probability control, or support. So that's pretty good. He could choose one of those powers every turn. He's got a speed power, special speed power, charge, leap, climb, quake. When he uses quake, he deals normal damage, and after resolutions, he may take a terrain action as free. Oh, that's actually really good.
Yeah, he has quake that can benefit from empower.
Oh, because it's normal damage. Yeah.
Right. Or could give him. No, blades won't work because blades only works in targeting a single character. I mean, if you only target one character, you could quake into blades and roll the 2/6 for damage, but yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think he's that great.
Yeah, he's a little bit too high costed, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's neat. He's got an interesting kit, but he just doesn't quite bring it home. I feel bad putting in herbal tea because in sealed he gives you access to perplex and prob, and that's really useful. But outside of sealed, I don't think anyone's touching him.
I'm actually surprised he's not a giant. And like if he was a giant, that would be really good with the quake too. But but I mean, either way. I mean, what would we put him at? Like a single?
I think single with the access to the easy support powers is his one saving grace for sealed. But yeah, he is, I think, bordering that herbal tea category.
Okay. Yeah. So let's take a look at our next rare, which is the Prime version, Doc Sasquatch.
Yep.
Doc Sasquatch, like the Doc Samson combined with Sasquatch.
Yeah, it's Doc Samson's soul in Sasquatch's body.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
So, okay. Immortal Hulk was a weird series.
So this one's interesting. It's 80 points for only 4 clicks, but let's look at what he does.
Yeah, only 4 clicks. Asterisk citation needed.
Yeah, because he is a hard figure to KO. When Doc Sasquatch would be KO'd by an opposing effect, instead roll a d6 and place the result on his card. If that result is not already on his card, turn him to click 1. Otherwise, KO him. So you don't want to roll the same thing twice.
Right.
But if
that first roll is a guaranteed. So he's 80 points for 8 clicks. Really.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Minimum. Okay. That
makes
sense.
You're going to see him get to 12 or 16 clicks pretty regularly. So that first roll, he's going to stock up whatever, doesn't matter. The second roll, he has a 5 out of 6 chance of coming back. Very good odds. Third roll would be a 4 out of 6. You have a 2/3 chance coming back.
And then his
as it goes,
his other trait is perplex. So he has traded perplex also, right?
So you get traded perplex. And if he targets another character he shares a keyword with, he can instead modify all of the target's combat values by +1. So that includes damage.
Yes, it includes damage, it includes speed, it includes range.
It's just worth noting the damage because we don't see a lot of damage perplexers anymore. But
yeah.
Animal, Brute, Hulkbusters. Brute is a real good keyword right now. Animal's got some legs under it. Hulkbusters, X Factor, but Monster and Scientists, there are friends he can play with.
Yeah. I mean, he's perplex, outwit. He can attack and deal damage. He doesn't have movement attack, but until the second half of his dial. But
he does not mind walking up to an opponent and just parking his butt next to him and just okay, throw your punch, whatever. I will live.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd maybe give him a 2.
I think 2 is fine.
Yeah.
The 2 shot. There is a nifty little interaction with him that is worth noting because there's a lot of effects right now that care about KOing opposing characters that see play. Black Lanterns, Carnage, Silver Surfer. They will never work against him because he is never KO'd by an opposing effect. Whenever he would be, he rolls a d6 and then maybe he KOs himself. So if you get something that triggers off an opponent's KO, he is never going to give that up for your opponents.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is worth talking about. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So, I mean, I don't know if he's like the best Prime out there, but I mean, like, I'd put him at a 2.
There's definitely competition for your Prime slot. I think I agree. He's probably not the best one out there, but if you're building a don't die team, I think he's the one you reach for.
That makes sense. And also, I mean, the fact that he can boost stats like the way he does is very useful.
Oh, yeah.
All right. After Doc Sasquatch is Ghost Rider, 70-point Ghost Rider. This is Kenshiro Cochran.
Ghost Rider 2099. Yep.
Nice. Okay. So he's
got the Spirit of Vengeance trait, which we've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
He has an attack special for most of his dial. Precision Strike, Blades, Claws, Fangs, and when he uses Blades, you may instead roll 2d6 and choose one to be the result. If you do, after resolutions, you heal him a number of clicks equal to half of the result not chosen. So, while ideally in a perfect world, you roll 2 6s and deal 6 damage, then heal 3 clicks. Frequently, you're going to have to pick that balance between how much damage do I want to do right now versus how many clicks do I want to heal.
Mm-hmm. I mean, having choices is good. So
choices are always good. Yeah, he's got 7 clicks, and he has that power for the last 5 of them. So he's deceptively hard to put down. Every time he attacks, there's a good chance he's going to heal back 2-3 clicks.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of mystics in this set. I mean, I wonder how that plays out in Sealed, like with like every figure having mystics.
When the punches start flying, the characters drop pretty quickly. He does have Invincible, though. So the Mystics and this are both after resolutions, but if you're attacking, yours are going to go first. So you could potentially heal back up to your Invincible clicks and then shrug off their Mystics entirely. Noting he also has a damage special on his first 2 and last 2 clicks. Shape Change. If he's adjacent to blocking terrain, he can't be targeted by non-adjacent characters.
So you can only run up to him and
yep.
And
just run up to him, get into Blade's range, before you throw that punch. And if you turn, maybe he rolls senses, gets out of it. Senses shape change. And if you do hit, whatever, you've knocked him down onto the chainsaw clicks. Time to heal.
Nice. So
yeah,
I put him at a 2, right?
I think 2 is fine. Yeah. Pulp, maybe he might have enough longevity to see play in Pulp. The great team backing up, but I think we can be safe and just give him the 2 shot.
Yeah, a double espresso.
Yeah.
Okay. And also some interesting keywords here that we haven't seen so much in this set: police, robot, and future. So he is Ghost Rider 2099, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's take a look at Death Rider.
Yeah. All right. So Death Rider comes in at 80 points. Mystics TA, 8 clicks deep, and he has a plan, but you won't like it. When a character, friendly or opposing with the mystical keyword, is KO'd after resolutions, generate a Sarah bystander, max 1. And then free, if he's the only character on your force, generate a Sarah bystander, max 1. He also has an attack special on his last 4 clicks. Call me Death Rider, Blades, Claws, Fangs, Poison, Giant Reach X, where X is equal to Death Rider's current click number. He's got Flurry on those clicks, so he's potentially flurrying with a close combat expert, 11-3 from 5, 6, possibly up to 8 squares away. Which is...
Giant Reach 8? That's amazing.
Yeah. Also, we're taking a look at the Asara bystander he generates. She's got Sidestep, Blades, Side Blast, Senses, and Support and Perplex.
And that's a really good bystander. I mean,
It's amazingly good bystander, but not the easiest one to access. Either one of your characters needs to get dropped, or you have to count on your opponent having Mystics to get the KO on. Which,
okay.
In Sealed, basically a guarantee. Outside of Sealed, you might, be stuck trying to sacrifice one of your own characters to get that bystander out.
Wait, so when a character with friendly or opposing with the mystical keyword is KO'd after resolution, so either you KO one of their mystical keyword figures,
or they KO one of yours, Yeah.
So
now, I mean, in Sealed, every team is going to have at least one mystical character on it. There's no getting out of it. Mystical is a very prevalent keyword in this set.
Yeah.
In Constructed, not nearly as much.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know about him. I think that the Giant Reach 5, 6, 7, 8 thing is really cool. Although, I mean, he does have flurry there. It's just really cool.
It is really cool. Very cute ability. I don't think it's the sort of thing you can count on to win you a game. It's cool.
Yeah.
For the whole package as a whole, I think he's just a one shot.
Yeah, I think he's a
Espresso.
one. I mean, if he maybe had that ability on Click 4 as well, or because I mean, right now he just has Charge Blades, Exploit. That's good, but I mean, I don't know. It doesn't stand out to be like
right. It's good, but it's not amazing.
Yeah, so let's give Death Rider a single espresso.
Mm-hmm.
And after Death Rider, we have Ghost Rider.
We're onto the rare extended bases now.
Okay, so these are all double base figures now?
Yep.
Okay.
So our first one up is Daniel Ketch Ghost Rider. Comes in at 60 points. Defenders, Mystics. Defenders to note, he's got 19 defense on his top click, which is really good. His first trait, Justice Shall Be Served. Friendly characters that have been damaged this turn have Defenders and Mystics. So in both cases, they're going to have to get it hit once before that kicks in. But, your opponent's rocking Flurry, or they're trying to line up multiple attacks on one character. That first attack does what it does, but the second one flicks on Defenders. He can share his 19 defense with them, gives them Mystics, keeps your opponent from really leaning in to try to double tap characters. If you're lucky and you pulled Zarathos alongside this guy, works phenomenally. We said they absolutely have to devote 2 attacks to go after Zarathos in one turn, and with this, they kind of can't.
So, I mean, one thing or just like a rules thing to be clear on. So, if one of my friendly characters gets damaged, the Mystics can't kick in on that first attack.
Right, because they were damaged before they had the Mystics team ability.
Okay.
Yeah. If your opponent can get around it by just not attacking a character more than once a turn, but you're putting a lot of pressure on how your opponent takes your turns just from him sitting here.
Yeah.
Past that, he's got the Spirit of Vengeance trait that we've seen before, so he can, if your opponent does bite the bullet and swing on that Mystics he's handing out to everyone, he can hit back pretty hard. And he also has an attack special, Sweeping Chain. Giant Reach 2 and Close. Make a close attack targeting all adjacent opposing characters. So Giant Reach 2, we'll let that go out 2 squares. Instead of normal damage, roll a d6 and divide damage equal to the result among all hit characters. Now he's got Exploit Weakness on the same because he has that, so that is penetrating damage. Some turns you're not going to roll particularly well. You're only going to have 1 damage, and you're going to just hit one guy for 1, but you might hit that 6 and have 6 damage to divide up among everyone he hits within 2 squares of himself.
Yeah, no, that's potential for a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he does have some pretty high defense values as well.
Oh, yeah.
And with the Defender's team ability, you can share that defense, right?
Yep. So, that works with his first trait where he can give out defenders that way, but if you've got lucky, you pulled some team player characters, yeah, easy, just 19 defense to share around whoever you need.
So, I'd give him a 2 also, I feel like.
I think 2 is fine. He might only be a 1-shot.
Yeah,
it does take a little finesse to play well.
I don't know if I don't think he's in Constructed. He's
right.
A 2, and Constructed he's a 1. I feel like, but
yeah, for Constructed 1, Sealed probably a 2. Pulp is losing. Just lost Watcher, so he might be the new king of 19 defense in Pulp.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. So all right, so let's put him at a 2.
Yeah. I think that's fine.
Then we have Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yeah. Love this Moon Knight. All right. 65 points, team player, a whole bunch of good keywords.
So this is the first one we're seeing pilot, actually.
Yep, this is our first pilot trait. So every pilot trait has a certain parameters, keywords, or names it's looking for. So for Moon Knight, it's characters named Moon Knight or characters with the Marvel Knights keyword. Beginning the game, you choose a single base character on your sideline that hits whatever the parameters that pilot trait is looking for. Turn them to any click, and the vehicle character with the pilot trait can use the standard attack and damage powers displayed on the chosen pilot character on the sideline. Then, excuse me. When the vehicle is KO'd, Moon Knight in this case, before you move from the map, you generate the character they chose from the sideline on their last non-KO click. And then this game, that character can't be healed, replaced, and isn't scored when KO'd. So, Moon Knight on his own.
So you're picking a character.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick any click on that character to use an attack and a damage power that's displayed on their dial.
Just the standard attack and damage powers. You don't get to copy special powers.
Yeah, but it has to be displayed on the dial, just like what we talked about with Damon Hellstrom, right? It has to be displayed on the dial. So it can't be a trait or from a special power.
Exactly.
So Moon Knight gets those powers, those 2 powers. And then when Moon Knight gets KO'd, you can you may or you have to. It says you have to.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah,
but the character that comes
then the
comes
character
out
pops out on their last click, right?
Mm-hmm. And is not scored when KO'd.
And is not scored.
Right,
but Moon Knight is still scored, right?
Moon Knight is still scored, right? Yeah, so that he still gives up his 65 points.
Okay.
But whatever Moon Knight or Marvel Knight was piloting him does not give up points being KO'd. So on his own, he's solid. He's got perplex and shape change as a damage special on the first couple of clicks. He has a moon trait that gives him either empower on a 1 to 2 roll, enhancement on a 3 to 4 roll, or prob on a 5 to 6 roll. The real good stuff with him, though, comes from the pilot options. This past summer, we had the Moon Knight OP event, the monthly OP Moon Knight, and that thing is a beast.
Oh yeah, the OP Moon Knight that
mm-hmm.
I forget what it does, but yeah,
So,
Brian could just tell us what it does.
so you depending on what click you turn into, they're giving this Moon Knight Side Blast and Prob, Pulse Wave and Outwit, or Steel Energy and Close Combat Expert. All of those pretty darn good power sets to have.
Yeah,
Moon Knight does
awesome.
have right. When this Moon Knight pops out on its last click, it is a 9-speed hypersonic speed that deals penetrating damage to a character he moves through. 11 attack Steel Energy, which doesn't matter, can't heal. 18 invulnerability, and 4 damage Close Combat Expert. So it could hypersonic up, swing for 12-5, and then still deal penetrating damage to the character it moved through.
And then, if I remember correctly, once it gets KO'd, then also it goes to another click or something like that, right? Am I right? Or is that
so, also, this particular Moon Knight has a trait where whenever it KOs an opposing character, you get an avatar token. And then when he would be KO'd, you can remove an avatar token, and if you do, you turn him to click 4 instead. So your opponent has to deal with this Moon Knight the moment it pops out, because if it doesn't, he's going to hypersonic up, snap someone's neck real quick, just take out a support character, and become unkillable.
Yeah, because then it goes to click 4, and that's not considered healing, so it can actually
right.
it can actually go to that click, which is great.
Click 4 gives it charge, pulse wave, imperv, outwit, 11 attack, 4 damage. This Moon Knight also has cosmic energy, by the way, so you can't outwit him. just for giggles.
And the rare Moon Knight that we're looking at right now also is just worth noting that if you don't choose Moon Knight as a pilot, there are plenty of Marvel Knights in the set as well.
Yeah, even just in sealed, there's a lot of really good Marvel Knight characters that you can get some good powers off of. But constructed, I think this Moon Knight is going to see a lot of play.
Really?
I think he's a character that you either do not want to hit because you don't want to let that 200-point Godly Moon Knight hit the field, or if you do go after him, you need to make sure you have a double tap lined up for that Moon Knight when it comes out.
So I would say maybe pulp then, right? Like constructed pulp, or no, because that's not legal in pulp then.
Yeah, the LA Moon Knight not legal in pulp. Yeah. Just flat out constructed. I think he's going to see play. In pulp, he might still see play, but there aren't as many good options for this particular Moon Knight.
I don't know if I would put him at a 3 though in constructed though. I mean, I don't think he's like top tier meta. I mean,
probably not. There are enough things that can get that double tap lined up. That is a lot of pressure to put on your opponent how they have to play the game.
Yeah, that's
but I think 2 shots is fine.
Yeah. Okay. So let's give him a 2.
Would not be surprised if I'm underselling this though.
Well, you might be right.
Yeah.
I think maybe he's a triple. I don't know. Like
I think 2 is fine, but it's just in that area of I could be wrong. After
Moon Knight, we have Orb, right? So Orb is everybody's crazy about Orb right now. Everybody.
Orb is both playable and goofy as fuck. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can curse.
So let's look at Orb.
Yep.
So assassin, cosmic, monster, mystical, and vehicle keywords, and yeah, he's got this like really cool thing. He has charge and running shot. He has traded charge and flurry. Well, it's not. It's conditional flurry, but it's if he crosses the rim of elevated this turn, which he can easily do because he moves through elevated.
Right.
And there's plenty of maps.
Bring your elevated terrain markers.
Bring your own elevated terrain markers, and he can do it. So you can give him flurry. When he attack, and then even when he goes through, if he moves through that elevated, or other types of terrain.
He gets flurry for elevated, but moving through hindering, blocking characters each give him a +1 when he crosses them.
Yeah, and those stack, so he can get up to a +3.
So if you manage to jump over hindering, blocking characters and elevated, he's +3 attack and flurry.
Which is great. I like the name of the trait, Stunt Rider in Another Life. So he's like like an Evil Knievel type orb character, and then he has
his other trait.
The other trait that we haven't even talked about, which is
amazing.
Is amazing. Orb's attack rolls of double ones are critical hits instead of critical misses. When Orb attacks, you may replace one die in his attack roll with a 1. Once per game, you may choose that a friendly character's critical miss becomes a critical hit. If you do, Orb can't use this trait this game. So
Orb will just crank out crits.
You roll a 1 and if you roll a 1 and a 6, now you are critical hitting because you change that 6 to a 1, and then your Snake Eyes are now critical hit. That's really good. And he's got prob, so and he's got energy explosion. He's just got he's just got like everything.
he just
and he's 7 clicks for 45 points.
Right. Orb is really good. Probably a little undercosted, but solid. He doesn't have any reducer, so he's very easy to chew through. His defense values aren't high. He is a glass cannon. Yes, but definitely. What a cannon he is.
Yeah. So, I mean, that being a glass cannon, I would also put him at a 2. I mean, possibly potential for pulp.
Oh, yeah. I think he will. I'm fine giving him 3 shot for pulp.
3 shot for pulp? Okay.
Yeah.
We can put him in that area. So
it's a shame we didn't see him when the whole sinister, why can't I remember the other half of that combo? McTaggart thing was a thing, because he would be unmissable by them, but oh well.
All right, and so now let's take a look at Elektra. Elektra also has the pilot trait.
For Elektra, Daredevil, and Martial Artist.
Yeah, so those are some good pilot not keywords, but I mean pilot requirements. A lot of martial artists. So we know what the pilot trait does already. She also has a trait, Through Our Eyes, free. Turn the character chosen for Elektra's pilot trait to a different click, so you can like toggle through the through the powers that you want to use each time. You can change the powers within the game by using a free action, and then her speed power right through our whole dial is hypersonic speed and stealth. So she's got hypersonic blades, super senses, which she can copy, like Spidey TA or something like that, because she's got team player, she's got close combat expert, so she's hitting for 12 attack. She's 80 points, so it's a large expenditure, but she seems pretty good.
Yeah, there are a handful of decent martial artist keyword pilots for her. Fortunately, the pickings for Elektra are non-existent, and Daredevil is pretty slim, at least in modern. But a lot of martial arts floating around. She doesn't have any of the obnoxious sort of tricks that, like, say, Moon Knight has access to.
Yeah.
But that toggle ability she has, where she's not just locked into the one set of powers, but can keep picking every turn what bonus power she wants off of her pilot. There's a lot to be said for that in Constructed. Excuse me, pardon.
I don't know. Still, I'd probably give this a 1. I don't know.
I think right now, I think I have to give it a 1 as well. One shot. But this is another one that I would definitely want to keep an eye on as other sets come out, because as we get more martial artists, more options for her, there might be something that really makes her click,
All right.
So, yeah.
Let's give Electra a single espresso, but we will see as more figures come out. That's a good point. Yeah, because we don't know what's going to come out ahead, especially for all these pilot. There's a lot of other pilot trait figures in the set in the other rarities.
Yeah.
So that remains to be seen.
Pilot's one of those open-ended effects you really just have to keep in mind. Just whenever previews are coming down, keep an eye out. What will this one work with?
Yeah. And so that Electra was, so basically between Electra and Moon Knight, though, we like Moon Knight better, right? Moon Knight is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Moon Knight. I'm gonna try to build with Moon Knight. Really like all the figures that we looked at in this set so far. I'll just give everybody a look again at the tier maker. So this is the tier maker that we have so far. We have some figures in each tier. Some good triple espresso figures up top. We have 3 figures that we put in the triple espresso pulp section. We have a bunch of double espressos and single espressos and a couple of herbal teas. So we have a little bit of everything so far in this set. And I'm really
not a lot of herbal teas, really.
Not a lot of herbal teas. Yeah, only Yeti and Ghost Rider. So
always like seeing that in a set.
But yeah. So that concludes the commons, uncommons, and rares. And that concludes part 1 of our set review. So for Wheels of Vengeance, and stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to do the super rares and chases. Thank you, Brian, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Always happy to chip in.
Yeah, I think this was a lot of fun.
Clix.
Yep. I hope everybody at home enjoyed, and you can catch this episode. Also, I'm going to be posting it on Spotify. So stay tuned, and like and subscribe if you enjoy my channel. Don't forget, everybody, wake up and smell the Clix.